Hey guys, welcome to Clockwork, down to Noodles for another breakdown of Spice and Wolf 2024, episode number 8. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are looking after yourselves. Thank you guys for tuning back in. My midway review is now up. Go check out the video to see what my top 3 OPs, EDs and current free anime are. I have also got some big news coming for you guys now, either the end of the week or next week. It's going to be big, and I promise it's going to be the biggest thing that I've announced on the channel. Isn't my 1k. We're not actually going to be close to hitting that for a while. It's definitely not that, but it is big news. So make sure you guys are tuned, subscribed, whatever you need to make sure you do not miss out on that big announcement. Let's get straight to it, because this week's episode is a weird one for me, but there's always this unease. There's an uneasy feeling all over the entire episode. Now, the shepherd bit wanting to make a bit of money. I did get spoilers, and I'm not happy, guys. Leave the spoilers alone, shall we? I thought we had moved ahead from Apothecary Diaries, but someone decided to spoil the character's name before we even had met the character. So I had the banhammer come out. Not very often that I get to annoy the editor and get him to actually come in and do banhammering. Please, please, please not spoil. I have not watched any of the original. I want to experience the show firsthand without having spoilers, so I'm not going to be going easy on spoilers because it's just not fair. But the shepherd section was a bit of a weird one. I did wonder why the people were spreading rumours about a sorcerer, because I don't think it's this girl. Really weird. Maybe it's a superstition, because we know we are in a similar to medieval Europe period where people would be suspicious of people, so maybe there is someone completely different going around. But it is the episode where we get to see very jealous Holo. Now, this is a very weird one as well, because from the first glance, Nora does not know if Holo is his wife. So at first glance, you asking to help them out is nice, but considering neither girl actually talks to each other and it gets very, very awkward, it's one of those weird third wheel situations where it must have been this atmosphere going on. Lawrence gets to chat to her, but neither girl really interacts with the other, so it's just a bit of a weird one. Also, I don't know what Lawrence is thinking this week, because he does decide to spend valuable money when we know that his goal really is just to get all the monies in the world and have his own little store. Bit weird that he's willingly trying to spend it, because I think he says that he's making an investment. Maybe he is, but I don't see it as a direct investment or anything. It's also weird because you consider that he doesn't really need help from the wolves, because he's traveling with the Great Wolf herself, and she can definitely handle wolves if they come up anywhere near them. So it's a bit of a very interesting episode. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. It's just weird. There's a lot of little hints that something's not right though, and the episode is trying to tell you that. The bit I found adorably cute was when the sheep start to loaf out and they're loafing out for the night. That was absolutely adorable, and I really, really like that. But it really must be a bit of a hard one to quit your job if your employer actually is the church, which I get the feeling that there's something going on here, and there was a bit of a moment where Nora arrives at the church to return, I guess, their sheep. I don't know, there's a few judged looks being exchanged, and I don't get it, because something is up. I don't think the Nora plotline is done yet, and the fact that she's in the OP as well, this gives me a hint that she's very important, and maybe it's coming back. Maybe she does want to get away from the church, but it's really difficult, because we've already spoken about how the church, especially in medieval Europe, was central. Doing anything against the church would have been really, really difficult, so actually quitting would have been a bad mistake. You can see Lawrence changing his tune as soon as he realizes who the employer actually is, because he doesn't want to suggest that, yeah, go ahead and quit because the church won't mind, because the church, they might take it personally. They're the kind of people I think who would. So I think there's something going on there. But it is an episode where you get to see Holo get a little bit jealous and be a little bit on the meaner side. And all that came to mind was the Snickers advert where you're not you when you're hungry, but instead you're not you when you can't groom or touch your tail or anything, which maybe you are, but it wasn't my favourite episode. I don't really like episodes where there's a bit of forced tension going on, and this does feel very forced. Understand it from her point of view. It's very awkward playing the third wheel. Her point of view as well, you really don't need to hire her, because any wolf that comes up, I mean, Holo is the Great Wolf. They're not going to attack her. They're probably going to sense it's her and probably leave her alone. It is a bit of a weird episode, and neither of the girls talking, and there's just a lot of interesting dialogue, but it's also tense dialogue, because I didn't want her to find out that Holo was a wolf, and then you're sad because Holo doesn't want to talk because she's jealous, and it's a bit of an awkward one. But the new town is very sus, and this is when I started to pick up on those vibes that something isn't quite right. maybe Holo is right that they just don't like the fact that he's making a huge quantity of money and they think it's weird, or the fact that they are suspicious of them, because we then start to find out there are people searching for Lawrence, and I'm wondering if it's Ari. I think his name was Ari. Maybe it's him, because I don't think he's dead. Maybe he's coming back to try and get Lawrence's attention. I don't know, but it does feel a bit nerve-wracking. There's people looking out the windows, there's people keeping an eye on them. The moment as well when he takes her along with her, but then decides to leave her there outside. I'm like, is this wise? You have literally said it wouldn't be wise to leave you drinking in the square, but you're happy to leave her outside for a moment. I get why he's doing it. He's doing it because he doesn't want Holo to hear about his drunken brothel days. He doesn't want her to hear about that because he knows she's going to get very jealous. But it's also very dangerous. And he's also said that you need to keep your wits about you, and especially in this town. He's like, it would be dangerous to leave you just hanging out, but I'm just going to leave you in the square. Doesn't feel like a wise choice. It feels like something's going to happen. This episode definitely ended in a very tense manner where something feels like it's going to go down. I'm glad that this guy who he's dealing with seems friendly and definitely knows him from his younger days. Apparently he used to wet the camping mat. Something feels weird and I don't know what it is. I can't put a finger on it. I think it's, again, the church is just making me nervous, because obviously I've watched To Your Eternity and the church was a huge contention point in that plot. And it's massive. And the fact that I'm waiting for it to happen in this plot too, I'm just expecting something bad to happen. I think Nora is nervous of the church, or maybe she's, I don't know, worried or panicked by them or something, because she doesn't look very happy when she comes in, and the priest also didn't look overly joyed to just see her come in. And I mean, if she is just someone you're paying to look after your sheep, it's a bit of a weird reaction as well to look that serious at her, I guess. So something feels weird. I did feel sorry for her backstory though, being a orphan and then wanting to have a job and make your own money, but now she really wants to do something completely different. And maybe she wants to be a tailor. She doesn't actually want to be a shepherd or anything. So there's a lot of interesting stuff going on, but I do sense some tension in the plot rising, and I wonder where it's coming from. So I'm looking forward to next week's episode, but I'm also nervous because I know it's going smooth, and in a show like this, when it goes too smooth for too long, you've got to be suspicious because it does feel like we're building towards something, and it's the church. It's definitely going to be the church or something. There's also the fact that Ari is still alive, and I think he is trying to search him down. Maybe the church is aware of a man matching his description, and they're keeping an eye out, because in every single town so far, you can feel the church's presence, and especially in the new town, you can definitely feel the church's presence everywhere you look. Keeping an eye on it. Looking forward to next week's episode. But hopefully by next week, you guys will have my news. So very exciting to get that out there for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you guys again soon. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.